Wayfinder is a game I have been excited about for a long time. Finally got to get in and play once early access dropped last week, and holy crap, I have enjoyed the hell out of it. This game reminds me of other games that I've really enjoyed, like Borderlands, WildStar, gosh I missed that game, Warframe, and WoW. Honestly, this game has so many features and things that I love about MMORPGs and co-op RPGs, and it has so much potential. While it does have some flaws, which I'll get more into in a little bit, and the reviews have been rather rough, I believe the positives outweigh the negatives so far for me. I'm going to cover my first impressions of the game, some positives and some negatives, and hopefully you can see for yourself if this game is worth your time in a year that just might be the best year for RPG gamers in the last 20 years. To give you a quick rundown of what the game is about, if you've never heard of it, you are what's called a Wayfinder. Someone uses cool tech, magic, a big ass sword, or a lot of other cool abilities or weapons to deal with enemies of the gloom to save humanity. There's a main story quest that will guide you along your journey through the world of Evanor with a lot of dungeons, funny side quests, and events sprinkled throughout the journey. There's 6 different classes to choose from at the moment, all with unique abilities and passives with some strengths and weaknesses. There's only 6 at the moment, but they already have another 10 in development and plan to drop a new class every season. You can test 3 of them out in the beginning and then choose one. Once you make your choice, you're stuck with that one for a bit, but can unlock the others through some grinding of materials and progressing through the story. I chose Wingrave, which really reminds me of a warrior or paladin that typically uses a sword and shield or two-handed weapon, but they can also use daggers, guns, and more. And it just sounded like the most fun for me. So if you like warrior, paladins, and other games like this, then that's definitely the one for you. I had so much fun. I was very happy with my choice. As of right now, Wayfinder is in early access, and you can jump in with just the base founder pack at $20, with the full game releasing sometime later this year. There's a lot to do in the game, and from everything I've read and seen, all of your progress during early access will carry over when the game fully releases. Here's what I've liked about the game so far: the action gameplay and the look of the game. The action gameplay is so much fun. It's so engaging. You have a light and a heavy attack for whatever weapon you're using, and you also have a block, you have a dodge, and a double jump. I love all of that. There's even grappling onto ledges, okay? You've got 4 core abilities for your class, whichever one you choose, and you get to kind of pick what abilities you want to go with as you level up, and then you can enhance those abilities as you go on. Then there's a weapon-specific ability that's basically like an ultimate ability. It feels really good, but to use all of those in tandem with one another, it feels so engaging. The look of the game is phenomenal. There's 2 games that really reminds me of, and that's WildStar. It was an MMORPG that came out a long time ago that didn't perform as well as I had hoped. I really enjoyed playing that game, and it reminds me also of Ratchet and Clank a little bit. Just with the animation, the style of it, it's freaking awesome. It's so much fun. The expeditions or dungeons, they're very fun. You've got secret chests, there's traps, puzzles, imbuements to make it more challenging, which is a lot like affixes in World of Warcraft if you've done any Mythic Plus before, and it's more rewarding if you do that. There's fun bosses, jumping puzzles, and more. I mean, literally, I feel like an explorer going on a mini adventure every time, and I love that. The more you explore, the more rewards you get as well. You'll be grinding these dungeons as they do change every time, and they can feel very similar one after the other. I think it's more of a positive for me, but I could see how some people may not like that. I like being able to grapple onto ledges. That seems like a small thing, but it's really nice, really convenient. There's no fall damage. I love that. I can't tell how many times I've died to fall damage in other games like this. It's kind of embarrassing. It's definitely embarrassing. It's way too much. There's funny side quest dialogue. 100% reminds me of Borderlands and WildStar, and I am in love with it. I find myself actually wanting to do the side quests because they're entertaining, fun, and engaging. I've already mentioned this briefly, but I want to really highlight this. The different weapon types are awesome. I love that each one feels completely different than the other. The difference I feel when I'm using my light and heavy attack combos with my two-handed axe or sword versus my daggers is tremendous. With my two-handed sword or axe, man, it feels much slower, but when I hit something, when I do an overhead swing smacking down on enemies, I mean, I feel it. It impacts like crazy. The sound with it, you go like, oh my gosh, it feels so satisfying. Or when I'm switching over to my daggers, which is much more fast, versatile, and I'm doing my ultimate where I'm spinning around, shooting daggers in every angle. I'm building up a charge for that. It also gives me attack bonus. It's so freaking good. Or just switching to sword and shield where I feel like my defense is stronger and my block feels more impactful. Or I do a shield slam on the freaking ground like some Captain America shit. It feels so freaking good. Being able to use my light and heavy attack combos depending on what I'm using along with my class abilities and whatever my ultimate is awesome. On top of all that, there's legendary weapons which look so freaking good, and they're freaking dope. They make putting forth your time and effort worth it, and I think that's incredibly important for games like this. If you're gonna grind 5, 10, 15, 20 hours for something in a game, it better value your time and be worth that. And the legendary weapons they have specific abilities that are just overpowered. The animations look incredible, and they're just really fun to use. The last thing I wanted to touch on, and that I really liked about this, and I thought it was important enough to highlight, is the fast travel is simple. It's easy to use, and it's free. I mean, meaning there's no currency it costs to fast travel to other locations at all. If you played New World back when it first came out, to fast travel, you had to use a currency called Azoth. It was really difficult to find early on, and it costed so much to be able to go anywhere. If you didn't have enough, you had to walk your ass everywhere, which took a really long time for how big that game was. Now, I'm not dissing New World, and they've corrected that a lot. And I think it's important for a lot of games like this that developers, they don't want to give you an amount usually earlier on, because they want you to experience the world and the game, and I think that's super important. That's what Wayfinder is doing, and I think that's what New World is doing. But being able to fast travel and it not cost anything, and you just be able to go to another location that you want to, I think that's super important, and Wayfinder did it right. What I've not enjoyed about my Wayfinder experience so far was the server wait time, okay? If you guys have been playing this game or wanted to play this game or watched anything about it so far, you knew that the server wait time was incredibly bad. When you actually got in, you got disconnected and were placed back in the queue. That happened to me. I can't even tell you how many hours I waited in the queue for the first 2 or 3 days to get into this game. A lot of people weren't even able to play for 2 or 3 days. They took off time off work and everything like that, and you couldn't play at all. The server capacity was way too low for something like this, and it gave not a smooth launch experience at all. That being said, this is an early access, so that's part of it. It's not been fully released yet. They also pushed out an update on August 24th that increased server capacity by 50% and helped with server stability. It's much faster to get in right now, which I really like. What's sad though is I feel like it's almost normal to have a rough launch experience with a new game, and I'm really hoping that changes in the future for any game. The game has also felt pretty choppy at times and will drop frames, and I exceed the recommended GPU and CPU requirements by far for sure for this game. But it's in early access. The server stability was a big part of that when I played it initially. It feels much better now, but it does feel a little choppy. I'm hoping that experience improves later on. The next thing, navigating a quest using the map and world map could be much better and way more clear. While they do have a yellow marking on your screen when it doesn't glitch out, when going towards an objective, it would be nice to see it on the map as well. That might just be me through playing many hours of games like WoW, Guild Wars 2, Destiny, Borderlands, that make it pretty easy to find out where you're going versus Wayfinder so far, but I hope that changes. There's also no auto run, okay? This may seem like a really small thing, and those of you that use auto run all the time in other games like this, you know what I'm talking about, okay? No auto run it feels bad, okay? I like this feature in any game where you have a lot of running to do. Heck, they do it in freaking Fortnite, and that's a battle royale shooter game, okay? You definitely should have it in an mmorpg or co-op RPG game like this. Just add auto running. Those are my only real negatives for the game so far. I am really enjoying Wayfinder. I'm excited to see how it progresses as early access continues and when it fully releases. Do you guys plan to check this game out? Have you already? If so, what do you guys think of Wayfinder so far? Let me know down in the comments below. I do plan to make more videos covering this game in the future and seeing how it progresses, and we cover a lot of other MMORPG games on the channel. So if that's something that interests you, smash that sub button. Thanks for watching. Bye all.